The head is the bouncer of your inner council, and sometimes it lets the wrong types in. Let's pan the camera back together and see exactly what you might be missing. The first thing that you need to know about your head is this. The main function of your head is to keep you safe. I am almost certain that every single person watching this can relate to being woke up at 3 a.m. You're in your bed, you're asleep, and all of a sudden something wakes you. You're worried, is there somebody in the house with me? Or you're thinking, what could it be? And then you start to overthink what it might be. What has woke you up at 3 a.m? Could it be the way that Brenda spoke to you in the office earlier on? How was her tone? Her tone was pretty off, wasn't it? Could it be that wee niggle that you've been feeling in your tummy? And then on it goes, and the list continues, doesn't it? Because the head's main job is to keep you safe. You've woke up for some reason at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the head's trying to work out exactly why you have woke up. But it might just be that you've woke up, or it might be that you've been having a wee bit of a stinker dream and you're startled. Who knows? But the brain's got its investigative gear on. It's like Sherlock Holmes, and it's coming out with all this spy gear trying to decipher what exactly went wrong, when in fact it might just be that you could go a wee glass of water. So the head, or the mind to be specific, it isn't focused on wanting to know the truth. It's sort of focused on having the proof. And that is why you've held on to receipts of times when people have done you dirty. That'll be why you can recall events in the past that make you go, hold on a wee minute, this doesn't feel safe. Because the mind can recall those examples over and over again and just call in the wee reminder of warning, warning, something might be amiss here. The head will come in and it will sort of act as a wee bit of a security guard for you, just so that you're certain, just so that you're sure. It's not like we're back in the Stone Age and you're being chased about by lions and tigers and bears, oh my. But guess what? That same physiology still lives within you. That same threat detecting system is still ingrained in the cells of your being. So what will happen for you is when the brain, the mind, notices a threat, all of those signals are going off almost like a big flare gun going, warning, warning, right, let's lock this down. The head is sort of the part of us that speaks the loudest, so it's the one that the majority of us will listen to most. And the reason behind that? Because its main mission is to keep you safe. That's why. Now, talking about safety, you might need to brace for impact for this next piece of information that I'm about to share. Strap in. Are you ready? You ready? Every single negative emotion that you have ever experienced has a positive intention behind it. You might want me to say that again to you. Every single negative emotion that you have ever experienced, ever, has a positive intention behind it. Now, people do anxiety differently. Some people hide under the covers. Some people just want to sort of retreat. Some people get that really sort of physical sense of anxiety where they have the panic attacks. I used to struggle with panic attacks a lot, especially in my kind of teens to early 20s, where, for instance, anxiety would come in and all of a sudden I would just lose the use of my voice. And I can sometimes feel anxiety coming in. It's almost as if it chaps at the door and says, right, here I come. But the thing with anxiety, we'll use that as an example here, is that the main purpose of that anxiety was always to keep me safe, always to warn me, always to make sure that I was paying attention. Frustration, let's take frustration. Say you're feeling frustrated, all right? What is the positive intention behind feeling frustrated? Actually, the positive intention behind that might be slow down, get the facts, see the bigger picture, pan the camera back. And it's not a sort of good vibes only channel that we've got here, but it's more a hold on a minute, what's a different perspective on that? Because the perspective on it is actually that the positive intention behind the negative emotion is there right in front of you. All you have to do is take the layers back. What we need to watch out for with the head specifically is this cognitive bias, all right? So the head wants proof, the head wants you to show it receipts, but the head also wants to be validated as well. What happens here is that when the head gets that validation, that kind of nod, it's proof that it's right, because that's what the head needs. The head needs proof. So it searches, it's kind of like its very own algorithm system. It's almost like you're on TikTok or Instagram or even Netflix. You are algorithm is dedicated to what it is that you search for, what your search history is, and it will send you things to show you what it is that you're interested in. And that's exactly what the brain does. Remember you were talking about that. Here it is here. You start talking about, I don't know, pistachio, and all of a sudden, everywhere you go, there's pistachio everywhere because the brain is looking for it, because the brain knows it's wired to say, there it is, tick, 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 lots of things, all right? That cognitive bias means that we want the brain to be right. So the brain will search and seek out information that proves that it's right. So it gets that bit of validation. It gets you that bit of, see, I told you so. And when we've got that with the brain, what happens is we're sort of at danger at not actually inviting anything else in. I had a client I was working with a few years ago, and she was picking her hires. And their hires in Scotland, that's the part where you would pick the subjects just before you start doing your applications to college and university. So this client was stuck in her head. She was so stuck in her head that it got to the point where she wasn't actually able to make a decision. So here she was at a standstill, not sure how to move ahead, not sure what to do next. Because in her head, it was so busy with worries that she might make the wrong choice. All right. Now, when you're picking your hires, I think you're about 16. The decision for her in that moment just sort of gave her this almost foggy mind when it came to it. It almost felt as if, and I like to refer to it as a bit of squid ink, all of a sudden, the brain just sends out the squid ink, and she was just stuck. And we had our first session together, and we were talking about what was going on for her, and it was this idea of the inability to make a decision, that she was really, really stuck in a sort of checkmate kind of idea. How could she move forward? What could she choose? What would come next? And when we started to unpack it together, what was really interesting is that she had decided in her own head that if she chose the wrong subjects, this would mean that she wouldn't get into college or university. And if she didn't get into college or university, as we further unpacked it, she thought that she wouldn't get a job. And then as we unpacked it even further to see what that meant, it meant that if she didn't have a job, she wouldn't be able to afford a Netflix subscription, which was quite strange because all of a sudden, from her, she laughed. She laughed and laughed and laughed because this moment of indecision that she was stuck in came all the way down as we untangled it, to not being able to afford Netflix because at the age of 16, she had decided on certain subjects to take that were the wrong choice. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because when you are 16, Netflix, social media, those types of things, they're so important to us. And when I asked her, so what would happen then if you weren't able to afford to pay for Netflix? And immediately, without even a beat, without even a thought, she'd said, I would just get my mum and dad to pay for it for me. Problem solved. So what sometimes happens is it is a bit like whack-a-mole in there. You're kind of searching and going, okay, what is the head doing? What is the head up to? And her head was actually up to making sure that she still had access to good entertainment. So I'm wondering if there is a situation or circumstance that's going on for you where you've got some things and you're thinking, right, okay, this feels really big. But when you peel the layers back and sort of ask questions like, what does this mean if this happens? Well, what does it mean if she chooses the wrong subjects? For her, it might mean that she didn't get into college or university. What does that mean? It might mean that she wouldn't have a job. What does that mean? And then we've peeled back the layers again and again and again until actually what you're left with is this original idea of, okay, here is where the belief lives. If I don't have this, then this means that this will happen. So that's why as well it is quite important for us to question the mind, to give it a wee, okay, is this true? Is this reality? What is going on here? Or is this just my brain sending me off into a wonderful wee world of, here you go, here's all the information here. And it's so important that we especially question the head, especially because if we don't question the head, what we might find happening is you're running about in circles like a wee dog chasing its tail, unable to make the right next move that's right for you that makes you feel good in life and about yourself. What I do want you to do is I want you to ask it questions, ask it many questions. And here's the thing I also really love about the head, by the way. It loves to be asking questions. The head is like Monica from Friends. It's almost shooting its hand up right away to say, I know the answer, I know the answer. And even if it doesn't know the answer, what will happen is it will start to mull it over and go, could it be this, could it be that? Just ask it good questions, ask it questions that you think, maybe this will take me a wee step closer to working it out. Maybe this will bring me a wee bit more of a clue to understanding why I'm behaving in whatever way it is that you want to change. And I really hope that you're able to come to the head with a sense of understanding, all right? Because the head's main mission is to keep you safe. It is the bouncer on the door saying, right, okay, yes, you can come in, no, you can't come in. And it is also sometimes that wee piece of worry that sits there niggling away, waking you up at 3 a.m. just to make sure that you're okay, just to make sure that actually you're safe. Don't give the head such a hard time. And if you can, get out of the head for a wee minute. So remembering that the head is part of this trilogy here, of the head, the heart and the gut. It's part of this inner council within you, all right? So I'm asking the head just to take a wee back-seater, relax, let its hair down. Allow for the heart to come in and join us in this inner council meeting and see what it's got to say. Sit with the other two. Sit with the heart. Sit with the gut. Go back into the head and see what it's got to say as well. And most importantly, the most important part of all of this, be gentle with yourself, okay?